Hey Zeus,
Yes.
Money in the Bank week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to A.I.W, the Artificial Intelligence Wrestling Show, where the insight is deep thanks to a little help from a digital friend. The following podcast is a triple threat match scheduled for however many hours. Introducing first, from Mount Olympus, the honorary Zeus. Next, from the cave at the end of time, Kronus the Bear. And their opponent, from the internet, A.I.W.
Hello and welcome back to A.I.W. episode 2. We're still here, Cronus.
Still.
We're still here. We might not be the smallest wrestling channel in the world anymore. I think we're still near the bottom.
Oh yeah, it's going to take time, but it's
Baby
all about the
steps.
grind.
Baby steps, yeah, all about the grind. Welcome to episode 2. Today is all about Money in the Bank. Mostly about Money in the Bank. It is Money in the Bank this weekend, Saturday night in Canada. I'm really looking forward to it. Looks like a good card. Just 5 matches, but they all look pretty decent. And yeah, I think it's going to be a great show. So we've got some predictions from myself and Cronus, and we've got AI Jeff's predictions as well. And later on in the show, we've also got some input from AI Jeff on how he would change/improve the Money in the Bank concept, which I think would be
I've
quite
not heard
interesting.
those, so
No, you haven't,
interested
have
to
you?
see what he
No,
says.
no. I got these done just a short while ago. So Cronus is completely blind to these concepts, so he will not have seen nor heard about any of these. But I can guarantee you, like every listener, he will enjoy them. So I'll get to the usual spiel. If you like the content, please subscribe. Please press the like button. It helps the algorithm. All that jazz. I'm pretty sure every single YouTube video in the world has that little speech now, but it does help us. And like I said, it's a slow grind, but anything you guys can do to help and support would be much appreciated. So as we are recording, Monday Night Raw was on Monday, funny enough, 2 days ago. So shall we start, Cronus, with a brief recap of what happened on Monday Night Raw and our thoughts leading into Money in the Bank?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty decent show overall.
Yeah, I mean, as go home shows go, that was a bit of a mouthful. As they go, I mean, historically they've not been great. They've kind of just been like most of us fans. We're ready for the pay per view now. But yeah, I thought it did what it needed to do. Focus on existing stories, and we kicked off with one of the favorites. Well, two of the favorites to win the Money in the Bank, Mr. Jey Uso, who might be the most over wrestler in all of wrestling at the moment with the reactions he's getting. It's crazy. So he started the show. I think it's always a good thing to start the show with Jey Uso, really get that energy up. Crowd obviously loves him. And it's always great seeing how he interacts with the crowd as well.
Yeah, coming from the back.
Yeah.
Through the crowd.
Yeah, in that mezzanine-like area, and just
Yeah.
everyone going crazy. He just appears out of nowhere. It was awesome. So he comes out and he kind of gives your, what you'd expect from a go-home show. He's going to win Money in the Bank, Yeet in the Bank, whatever he wants to call it.
One yeet, did he say?
Yeet in the Bank, I think. Oh, it's a bit of a stretch for me.
Yeah.
Won't be putting that on a t-shirt anytime soon. I hope not, anyway.
We'll see.
I mean, well, judging by the state of wrestling t-shirts recently, I would not put it past anyone.
Anything can get on the t-shirt.
Oh god, it's not been a good year for wrestling t-shirts, to say the least. So he's out there doing his thing, and out comes Mr. Chadwood Gable, another favorite. So they exchange words, doing the usual thing, and then they started to talk they started to reference the Wyatt Six and the Chad Gable attack, and they basically started saying, "Oh, they're coming after you." No, they're coming after you. Trying to, because they've both got history with family and betrayal, which seems to be the theme of the Wyatt Six motives, which we'll get onto later in the show. They had a brief tussle, should we say?
Yeah, there's a
Briefly,
bit of handbags.
yeah, a bit of handbags. Yeah, that's a classic British phrase. Handbags at dawn. And then Chad Gable leaves the ring, and then lo and behold, the lights go off one by one. Just like the Fiend. I love how they're kind of keeping that as the sort of indication that the Wyatt Six are near.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean,
it's just a
classic.
very telling sign, isn't it?
Yeah,
So Chad
absolutely.
Gable, he obviously knows what this means, and this time he's not messing around. He leaves the ring, goes through the crowd, and the camera starts following him. This is when you know something's going to happen.
Yeah,
And then all of a sudden we see the blue light, which again is another staple of this faction. It's a bit of a throwback to Brody Lee, isn't it?
yeah.
And
I think so.
sorry,
Sorry, go on.
yeah, I was just going to say the first thing we see is the blue light with what looked like Huskus the pig as like a silhouette, which looked terrifying because he's just stood there with the blue light behind him, and it's more like a shadow.
Yeah, I did like the backlighting.
Yeah,
I mean, it looked really cool.
and then he thinks, "Well, I'm leaving," and then he goes a bit further, and we see the unmistakable presence of Eric Rowan, just because he's so much larger than the rest of the group.
Yeah, you can tell it's him.
Yep, and the big rabbit mask, I guess, helps a little bit as well.
Just a bit.
Yeah, I don't think any of them have got as big ears as Eric Rowan's character. And then he thinks again, I'm leaving. And then we see what obviously was Mercy the Buzzard, aka Dexter Loomis. At this point, I was wondering if we were going to see Howdy. But it turned out that it was just the three that we saw. And eventually, Chad Gable did make his exit. And then we cut to, again, Nikki Cross appearing at ringside. And I don't know if you caught this, but Jey Uso was under the ring hiding at this point.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. There's a clip on social media where Nikki is, slowly moving towards Michael Cole and Corey Graves. And under the ring is just Jey Uso. You can see the ring flapping and his shoe sticking out.
I
I thought that was really funny.
was more focused on, I know you mentioned in the last episode when security guards were just randomly draped over the table.
Oh, God. Yeah, they did that again, didn't they?
Yeah, because they were again, I instantly, my mind went straight there.
Yeah.
That's what I said about it.
Again, it's the only thing I don't like about this so far. It's just not realistic, is it?
It does seem a bit random,
like-
but I think the other option would be to have them, if they're not beat up, they'd surely have to try and do something about Nikki.
Yeah, I guess so.
Otherwise, they'd just be sat there letting it happen. It's not very secure.
No, exactly. Not doing their job. And well, we know wrestling security guards are stealing a living, don't we, over the years?
Oh, yeah.
Not very good at their job. I do
Future
wonder.
champions.
They are future champions, yeah. I do wonder if what they're trying to do with this is purely for a TV audience. Like, are they trying to make us believe that the other members have attacked the security guards while this is happening? I mean, it's obviously
the only explanation.
Yeah, because I mean, to a live crowd, it's ridiculous because they just see two people willingly crawl on a table and then play dead. So yeah, that's the only thing I don't like about this so far. But nothing's perfect, I guess. What I really did
TV,
like
innit?
here, what I really did like was Corey Graves' reaction, because he really sold the fear of Nikki Cross's face, which from the other angle, her face/mask looks really terrifying when she comes towards you.
Yeah, definitely.
And Corey Graves was he was lapping it up. He was proper selling the fear, and he was kind of out of his chair, back against the barricade, as if this like thing was coming to kill him. So yeah, Nikki Cross did what she did last week, which was provide Michael Cole another VHS with the caption "Play Me," which means we were going to get another presumable interview later on in the show. All in all, I thought it was an effective segment. I think having Chad Gable and Jey Uso there with the Wyatt Six kind of made sense.
Do you think it kind of sets up Jay as a future victim?
I don't know. I mean, I think you mentioned it last week about the Bloodline Wyatt Six crossover.
Yeah.
I
mean, they did mention when they were going back and forth about. Well, I'm pretty sure Chad said something about Jay abandoning his family.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. I don't know if Chad is deflecting.
Maybe.
Because I think Chad is more, he's abusing his family, isn't he? And even later on in the show, we see his manipulation tactics towards Otis, which I think are going to play into something bigger as well. But Jey Uso, potentially, maybe later down the line when there's more kind of original Bloodline stuff happening.
Potentially.
But we'll see. I mean, I think in the QR codes, the Wyatt Six, they made it very clear that their judgment and justice was going to be indiscriminate. So,
The best kind.
yeah, nobody is safe. But yeah, I thought it was a great segment overall. Did what it needs to do. You want to go next on the next segment / match? What do we have next?
It was Cross and Woods after that, wasn't it?
Cross and Woods, yeah.
Yes. I mean, it was an alright match, but it's not something I'm personally invested in.
It's not really grabbing me, no.
I mean, Xavier Woods got the win. It was a roll up, but it was a good old Testament beatdown afterwards.
Yeah. I did enjoy the beatdown. I wish Karrion Kross would have won.
Noted that Paul Ellering was wearing some ridiculously shaped sunglasses.
Oh, was he? I didn't notice. What were they like?
It was quite hard to describe. On the inside, they're sort of normal, so where it sort of bridges your nose, it just curves around normally. But then towards the outside, it goes out a bit, then back in, and then out a little bit more, like a small wing almost.
Nice.
I think. Yeah, it just looked silly.
Yeah, he's a elderly gentleman now. I don't know how old he is. I know he is quite old, but he's just it's quite difficult to tell how old he is. But it's good to see he hasn't lost his sense in fashion, at least.
Yeah, he can wear whatever he wants.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. It's not really grabbing me. I think it sucks that, I mean, given the story that we are getting, I kind of wish Karrion Kross would have won.
Yeah.
I also don't get how Xavier Woods has a name for his roll up backwards. Like, is that like a finisher? Is his finisher just a roll up now? The fact that he calls it the backwards it's just quite strange to me, having a specific name for a move so basic.
Well, it is the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment.
Yeah, that and the lateral press. I mean, no one's won a match with anything more than a lateral press or a roll up, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Again, I think we can see where this is going, especially the beatdown on Kofi afterwards, which I did enjoy. I thought it actually made Cross look, like a legit badass. So do we see the New Day break up soon? Are they going to turn on each other?
I'm still thinking they might be trying to expecting some sort of Big E involvement, but what that'll be, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I've kind of seen this on social media because obviously we'd love to see him back, even if it's not in an in-ring capacity.
Yeah.
He just brings so much
Definitely.
energy, doesn't he, to everything he does.
Yeah, he is great.
Yeah, the New Day haven't been the same since he's been away.
No. So if he is not going to come back to the ring, at least, maybe it is the time to finally split the New Day.
Yeah, I mean, I could maybe see him come back in a non-wrestling capacity as like a peacekeeper between the two if they do kind of tease splitting up. But I'd probably personally want to save him for something bigger if he was going to come back.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if he was to come back to the ring. That'd
Yeah,
be ideal, but
I think the bigger problem here is the Final Testament. It's yet another carrying cross experiment, which is not really landing with the WWE universe.
No, not sticking with me, but it seems to be the general consensus.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite at Lacey Evans level yet.
No.
Because that was tragic on many levels. And the thing is, he is really good at pretty much everything. He's a good wrestler. He's a fantastic promo. You could watch his vignettes all day.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I really don't. I mean, you could say it's the booking, but they've tried so many things.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not getting over there. He was. I didn't catch him much in TNA, but what I did sort of, catch glimpses of is it seemed they were booking him just like a killer.
Yeah. I think that's how he should be booked. And I think the problem we've had is that he does all this like scary cryptic stuff, which is really good in terms of how he delivers it, and he loses.
Yeah,
It's just like, well, he's a loser. I can't take him seriously. Like, do you
I
think
agree. Yeah,
do you think they're going to have the Wyatt Six lose any matches? Probably not for a very long time.
no, exactly. It's not how you build someone.
No. So yeah, Woods defeats Cross. We'll see what happens, but it's not something I'm waiting each Monday for.
No.
What do we have next? Was it Liv versus Zelina next?
There was a little segment where Liv is coming. Priest is going into the clubhouse,
Yeah.
and Liv is in there with them.
Oh, and they're playing.
on the Xbox.
They're playing 2K again, aren't they?
Yep, and Liv, as soon as Priest arrives, Garper's out, but not without saying goodbye to Daddy Dom on the way.
Nice. Very thoughtful.
Yeah, just a short one there, and then a Seeker video package, which was pretty cool again.
Yeah. God bless that man.
And then it was Liv and Zelina.
Liv and Zelina. I thought this was actually quite good.
Yeah, decent match.
It's not two people that I'm historically over the moon to be in a wrestling capacity, to be honest. But I think Liv's character work at the moment is really captivating, and I actually think Zelina has gotten a lot better and is actually quite underrated.
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't know how she's managed to swing a world heavyweight title shot, but it was a good match, and I've got in my notes: shave your mustache, clap, clap, clap,
Oh,
clap, clap.
the shave your mustache chance for
When Dom
Dirty
came
Dom. Yeah, that was funny. It just goes to show how effective Dom's work is since he joined the Judgment Day and turned heel, because I know it's kind of sucks that it sort of took the crowd away from the match for a moment, but everything Dom does is a target for the audience.
Yeah,
even when he comes out and tries to talk, everything he does, they are on him, which is more than you can say for someone like Karrion Kross, because you'd rather get booed heavily than just no reaction at all.
Yeah. No reaction is a bad reaction.
Yeah, exactly. So this was kind of overbooked, as we thought it would be, with the interference. And I thought it was a competitive match. I thought Zelina had some really good offense. Obviously, we had Dominic out there shortly into the match. He was followed by his father, who ended up having a match later on in the night. And there was a bit of a distraction where I think Liv Morgan was defending Dominic when Ray was sort of kind of, giving him a fatherly talk. And Zelina Vega obviously capitalized. She did a nice 619 and a tornado DDT, which was a really good near fall.
Yeah, I like that.
And then at the end of the match, we had sort of a throwback to when was it? When did Becky lose the title? What pay-per-view was it? Was it Backlash? I can't remember.
I think so.
Or was it King and Queen of the Ring? Yeah, I think it was a Saudi show where Becky lost the title to Liv, where Dominic kind of slid the chair into like a indiscriminate area of the ring.
Yeah.
And Zelina's like, "What are you doing?" And Zelina kind of throws the chair into Dom's head. And then in comes Liv, Oblivion, for the win for a successful title defense. And I've always seen the finisher Oblivion depending on who's selling it, either looks all right or really bad. Because
Yeah,
most people who sell it, they kind of just like fall forward softly, cushion their head on the mat, and do a little front roll, and it just doesn't look like he has any impact at all. But Zelina did a good job of selling it. Liv gets the win. Yeah, I thought it. I mean, you mentioned why did Zelina get a title shot?
yeah.
I mean, yeah, the division's not very stacked at the moment, is it? And I think
No,
that they just had to give Liv some filler to make her have at least one title defense before she loses it to Rhea Ripley. But
suppose. Yeah, I'm not against Zelina wrestling for the title. It was just out of nowhere.
yeah, I guess it's like, I guess they thought, she's involved kind of because she's with Ray and Ray's Dominic's dad, etc. So yeah, I guess I'm surprised they didn't do it at the pay-per-view. Um, I guess they're just so obsessed with these 5-match cards recently.
Yeah,
But always nice to get a title shot on a Monday Night Raw.
yeah.
So yeah, that was strong all around. What do we have next?
His old Seth and Priest. Well,
Seth and Priest.
Seth and Finn, and then Priest.
Oh yeah, Seth comes out, doesn't he? And then he's interrupted by Finn Balor. What did you make of this segment? Do you want to take us through this one?
I haven't made too many notes on it. Obviously, you've got Seth saying he's walking out as world champion, as you do on a go-home show if you're
Yep.
challenging. Finn interrupts, and then shortly after, Priest interrupts and shuts down Finn, which
Yep.
is adding to that sort of crowbar that seems to be making its way in between the Judgment Day to pry them apart. But it all breaks down. Finn starts beating on Seth Rollins, but Priest stops him.
Yeah.
Even more fuel on the fire.
Yeah. I mean, I really like how they're doing this Judgment Day thing. It seems very calculated.
Yeah, there's a few different strands to it.
Yeah, because we seem to have Damian Priest, who he is world champion and he wants to be seen as just that, a world champion. And Finn, I think at some point later in the show, says, ever since you've been world champion, you've changed. And it's it's kind of a nice dynamic, isn't it? That having a title makes you think, I don't just want to be champion, I want to be respected as a champion.
No,
And
absolutely.
Damian Priest seems to be going through that at the moment with Judgment Day, and I think that is ultimately, amongst other things, is going to feed into that eventual split.
Yeah, I think so. But after that, it does break down a bit. Finn takes a stomp, which is pretty brutal, and then maybe the best South of Heaven chokeslam I've ever seen.
Yeah.
On Seth, that was really good.
I do love his
From
chokeslam.
Priest.
Yeah, I love the
It's
South
great.
Heaven chokeslam. It's just got so much impact. And obviously
Yeah, it's amazing.
Seth's a master at selling.
So I'm
But
expecting a good match.
yeah, I think Damian Priest has had a very respectable title run. I don't think he was the guy that everyone would have picked to be a champion, but for his first title run, I think his character work's been good. He's had good matches. He's not going to hold it. I mean, we'll get to the predictions later, but he's definitely not holding it beyond SummerSlam, at least.
Well, we know your pick there.
But no, at least, I mean, he might lose it at the Money in the Bank, but if he does retain, he's not beating Gunther. So what we do with him going forward when the Judgment Day is split and he's no longer champion, I think it's really important how they follow up on him, because I'd hate to just kind of see him fade into obscurity after all the good work he's done.
Yeah, definitely.
So yep, Seth Rollins versus Damian Priest on Saturday. If Rollins wins, Damian leaves the Judgment Day, which I think is a really interesting stipulation, because you'd think that makes it predictable, but it really doesn't.
No, it's high stakes.
What do you next? We had was it Triple Threat Women's Money in the Bank qualifier?
Yeah, there's a couple of little segments. There's Ludwig Kaiser promo
Yeah.
was actually really quite good.
Yeah, I was happy to hear that his injury wasn't as serious as people were thinking it would be. I mean, he's got a broken rib, did he say?
Yeah, I think it was that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but
Yeah, I think he mentioned in his
really bad.
promo about Sheamus breaking his rib, which I think is a very, very quick turnaround compared to some other injuries.
Yeah, should be fine. But yeah, it was pretty fiery.
Yeah, looking forward to him.
And then a short bit with Priest and Finn
Yeah.
after the shenanigans. Basically, Priest asking Finn to stay out of his Money in the Bank match.
Oh, yeah. Don't think that's going to happen.
No.
I'm kind of enjoying this sort of WWE kind of being a bit more overbooked recently. Just kind of like being a bit more chaotic. And I
Yeah,
think we could be looking at the most overbooked Money in the Bank ladder match of all time. Because when you look at who could interfere to cost X person, there's about 3 or 4 that could legitimately happen. But we'll see.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was Zoe Stark, Dakota Kai, and Ivy Nile. So before we get into this, I saw a lot of discourse on social media. There seems to be this huge Dakota Kai movement at the moment. I love Dakota Kai. I think she's a really good wrestler. I think she's a great character. She can cut a really good promo. I've always loved her back at NXT. She's a great baby face. She's a great heel. I got nothing but good things to say about Dakota Kai. But for me, spoiler alert, she didn't win this match and she took the pin, which is what kind of upset a lot of people on social media. I don't know about you, Cronus, but where I see this going is, do you remember a few weeks ago when Io Sky went crazy and she smashed a load of stuff backstage saying damage control has to change?
Yep.
And then I think Kyrie lost a Money in the Bank qualifying match. Io won hers, and now Dakota's lost hers. Now, what I can see happening here is there being a split of damage control and Dakota Kai becoming a babyface coming out of damage control because she's obviously very popular and she's very good at pretty much everything. And I don't think you could have had her win this match, qualify for Money in the Bank, and then her and Io would be in the same match and you could kind of tease a split that way. But there's always more than one way to get to kind of the same resolution.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because from my point of view is if she'd have lost and then they didn't follow up on it with no backstage segment, which they did, then that would be a worry. But the fact they lost and they showed you a backstage segment and they showed you Io's reaction, and then they kind of got the faces involved to have a brawl, it sort of tells you that they are planning something with this.
Yeah,
So,
it's not for nothing.
No, I think Dakota will be fine. And I think that she will, because Monday Night Raw needs singles women's wrestlers.
Yeah.
Desperately.
Instead, it's pretty thin on the ground.
Yeah, we've got no Rhea Ripley. We've got no Becky Lynch. That's the 2 biggest stars on Monday Night Raw. You've got Liv Morgan carrying the division, which I never thought I'd say. And even then, her main role on the show is prying apart the Judgment Day. I mean, the fact that she is world champion is only noticeable because Rhea used to be world champion. That's it. So there's not really a lot of standout singles women's wrestlers on that show. And if you kind of break up damage control, you've got Dakota, Io, Kyrie, maybe have a little feud coming out of it, then go their separate ways. That's a much deeper talent pool.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And I think damage control as a whole, from when they first started, I thought they were a bit of a, I don't want to say failure, but they just didn't really land until maybe Io won the title at the following SummerSlam. And then the whole kind of discourse with Bayley.
Yeah, the whole sort of the slow split is what I wanted to say.
Yeah,
It was
easy for
really,
you
really
to say.
good. but I still think it was a good vehicle for. It was EO and Kyrie initially, wasn't it?
No,
Or
it's
EO
EO
and
and
Dakota.
Dakota. EO and Dakota initially, yeah.
Yeah, I mean Bailey elevated a lot of them really.
She did, yeah. I guess it was more the booking I was because I mean, how many times did we have them feud with Bianca Belair over and over and over again? And Bianca Belair always won,
Yeah,
and it kind of got a bit stale. But when Io won the title, when she won Money in the Bank a year ago, and I think that's when it really started to kick in. But I think Damage Control, it would have been around almost 2 years at this point. I think that's for a heel female stable. I think that's been a really decent lifespan.
yeah. I mean, can you think of another all-female stable
No,
on the spot?
no, not a significant one. No,
Especially not recently.
no, exactly. I mean, you could probably pick a few from NXT, but main roster and the fact they won championships and had someone as influential as Bailey heading it up. No, I think they've done okay to last this long, but I think it's not a bad thing to
No,
split them up, especially if it can benefit them more being individuals.
yeah. If it's done all it's going to do for all of them, then it's time.
Yeah, and Zoe Stark gets the win.
Yeah, I was hoping for Ivy Nile, but take Zoe.
Yeah, I think they're all great wrestlers. I know Zoe Stark was the subject of a lot of Dakota fans' wrath on social media. Um, I think Zoe Stark is probably the best wrestler out of the three. I would
Yeah,
say. I think she's incredible in the ring. I think she just needs to find that character that suits her. I think she's got a lot of potential there, but her character work since she came to the main roster feels very forced.
yeah. I know
Remember
what you
that
mean.
that feud with Becky, with Trish?
Yeah,
Didn't
didn't do
really,
him any
no,
favors.
no, and I'm not really a fan of like her with Shayna either. Um, I'd quite like to see her be a bit more stoic and less sort of because she likes to be quite expressive,
Yeah,
and I think it comes across as quite forced. So I think seeing her quite stoic, a bit like Shayna, to be honest, because Shayna's very, she's straight up, just tells you the facts, gets on with it,
yeah,
kicks ass. But in the ring, yeah, Zoe's great. She's got a lot of decent offense, and she's really, really, um, she's got great pace in the ring. I think she'll be very, very good. If she can nail down the character and they can find something that works for her, yeah, I think the sky's the limit for Zoe Stark, definitely.
yeah. Be interesting to see if she does anything in the match.
Yeah, it'd
Mm,
be good to see someone like her, let loose in a ladder match. And we'll talk about because she was the final participant in the ladder match. And we'll talk about the full lineup when we get to our predictions. In terms of the match itself, thought it was fine. Standard triple threat match. I mean, we've seen so many of these now, haven't we, over the past few weeks?
Yeah, I've liked them though. It's nice,
Yeah,
slightly different dynamic.
yeah, nice way to fill out the show as well. What do we have next? Was it the VHS or was there a segment?
It was the Wyatt
Ah,
tape.
this was brilliant. Yeah. Um,
Really was.
was it what we were expecting? Was it? Um,
No, everyone was talking about. Well, you were. I joined in about the other members being interviewed either by themselves or by Uncle Howdy.
yeah. I don't think anyone expected a continuation of Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas. Um, so they play the tape, and this one seemed to kind of escalate a lot more than last week's. It seemed
Yeah,
a lot more intense.
yeah, very.
And
Go on.
sorry, earlier in the week, the Wyatt Six Twitter page, they put up one of those picture puzzles. I don't know how to solve them, so I just wait until someone else does and then look at it.
Then I'll
Um,
wait for you to tell me.
yeah, it's like third hand knowledge. Um, and it said, "Do you think you're special?" That was what the answer was to the clue. And obviously, we got that here, and it was one of the first things that Uncle Howdy asked Bo Dallas is, "Do you think you're special?" And I loved his answer to this. It was
Yeah,
no,
really good
because
reply.
that would mean that others aren't special.
Yeah, special implies that others are not,
Yeah.
that are less than, that deserve to be forgotten.
And we're the ones everyone wanted to forget about.
Yeah,
And then Howdy brings up how does Bo think it's his responsibility? You know, does he think that he brought them to life? And Bo goes on to say that they weren't chosen, they were willing.
yeah, I was just about to say that was my next sort of picked out line. I really like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's actually started off this as well with Bo asking, "What are we even doing here? How many times are we going to do this?" Which leads is really interesting because it really kind of gives that alter ego, devil on your shoulder style character,
Yeah, I like that. The
where
dynamic,
where
really good.
the fiend was the evil side of Bray Wyatt, like Uncle Howdy is the evil side to Bo Dallas. And you'll notice that as the conversation escalates and gets more intense, that's when Howdy says, "There you are," because it's like he's trying to draw out the anger and the vengeance that's kind of obviously building up inside of him. But I think the main takeaway from this segment was Bo Dallas citing that false prophets belittling their family for their own gain.
Yeah,
So that's basically telling us why they're here and who they're targeting. So this could be obviously Chad Gable. Dominic Mysterio is classic example. Solo Sikoa. It kind of opens a lot of doors in
and the
terms of
New
where they
Day
could
split.
go. New Day, potentially.
Yeah,
It really opens a lot of potential doors. Again, I'm wondering what we get next week. Are we going to keep going with Bo? I would personally like to hear from the others, but
I
I,
like what they're doing.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if we are going to hear from them anytime soon, but I love the escalation of this one. It started to get very, very intense, and at the end, you saw the flashes of them swapping places and them being, a singular figure with the "I am nobody, I am all of us," which was very prevalent in the QR codes. Um, Even like, do you remember when Bray was doing? It was when he came back, and it was just after the Royal Rumble. Remember that Mountain Dew Dark, whatever, Pitch Black match?
With LA Knight.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
after that, when he started doing Funhouse segments again. And there was one segment where it was really kooky and really weird. And he goes, "Here's Uncle Howdy with the weather." And Uncle Howdy's kind of just there in front of a weatherboard.
Mm,
And he just says, "I am nobody, I am all of us," over and over again. So it's definitely not a new thing. This is something that was planned, obviously, way before Bray passed. So I like that it really kind of stretches back quite a long way as well.
yeah, honoring the legacy.
Yeah, and it really feels like they're not just having new material and saying this is for Bray. They're actually using what was Bray's material and incorporating it into something new and unique,
Yeah, 100%.
which kind of just adds the authenticity. So I really like it. I thought it was another great segment, and I can't wait for next week already.
Yeah, want to see the next tape.
Yep. Where do we go from here?
There's a little Sheamus promo.
Oh yeah, hyping up the triple threat match later on.
Oh yes, yeah, it's a pretty good promo. But then some goodness between Sammy and Bron.
Yeah.
I know you're enjoying Bron at the moment.
Oh
Do you think
yeah.
he's gonna run through Sammy?
Oh god. Yes,
Oh well.
I know we've got our predictions. I should know the answer to this question. I'll save it for the predictions.
Well, did run through Sammy.
Well, he did tonight.
Tonight.
Yeah, yeah. Again, the camera work for Bronze Spears is excellent.
Yeah, really good, especially the run around ones.
Yeah, Sammy's leapfrog as well. Excellent
Yeah.
stuff. I think this is really intriguing because, again, it's another one where it's definitely not predictable because obviously you could see Braun winning, but then you think, oh, it's too soon. But they might do it, but oh, it's too soon. It's one of those for me.
I don't know. They've booked him so far as this marauding, unstoppable
Yeah.
dog, badass,
Yeah.
whatever he likes to be called.
He's got that dog
Um,
in him.
to stop it now, I think would be a bit silly.
Yeah. I guess we'll see. I mean, there's possibility of shenanigans, maybe. I think that the placing of the card is very important for this match
Yeah. Think,
because a lot of people are going to be like, where is the Money in the Bank ladder match on this card? That's going to be very important because, like, obviously, if this match is first, very little shenanigans. But if they do if they open with the men's Money in the Bank on Saturday, I think that's the best thing they can do because you've got your winner straight
yeah.
away, and then you've got obviously the IC and the world title match that are sort of in danger. So
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, there's no other women's match on the card, so
No women's ladder matches. For once, they can't cash in on the same night, as they've done quite a few times, haven't they? The women.
yeah, great success.
100% success rate for the women. I think it's 80 for the men. It's a bit of trivia. Who's failed their cash in? Baron Corbin, Austin Theory. Oh God, I can't remember. Anyway, I'll figure that out another time.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think this did a good job at obviously solidifying Braun Breaker as a huge threat on Saturday. I just can't see how Sammy. Well, he beat Gunther, I guess, but this isn't just power. This is speed as well. But yeah, I thought it was very, very effective. Looking forward to that match on
Saturday.
Saturday. That was it. And yeah, we got NXT on Sunday as well. Heatwave, big weekend of wrestling.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that Monday, but
we had Ray versus Dominic. Again, I wasn't expecting this match to just happen randomly on a Monday Night Raw, given how important it felt at last year's
yeah,
WrestleMania. So Ray beat Dom again here, second time in a row. Again, there was a lot of interference from Liv Morgan. And there was a very funny spot here. Well, not funny, but interesting spot where Ray kind of runs into the ropes against Dom and he sort of lands on Liv Morgan and she's sort of holding him there.
yeah, won't let him go.
And I wonder, Dom's playing possum here. He's got to be. Like,
Surely.
he has to be playing possum here. Either that or Finn Balor is the one in cahoots with Liv. But that's the thing; it could go so many ways here. I think until Rhea comes back, whenever that might be, we don't know. I don't think we have an update on her condition, do we? We don't know how long she's going to be out for.
Not seen anything recently, no.
No. We know she got married recently, which is great. So hopefully, it would be great to have her back for SummerSlam because that would just really pack out the card so much.
Yeah, I mean, whether we have a Judgment Day intact when she comes back.
Yeah, I think her coming back should be the final sort of explosion to the Judgment Day. Like her obviously destroying Liv and her kicking Dom's ass as well would be great.
Yeah, I mean, destroying Liv, but still Liv succeeding technically.
Yeah, I mean, she's already got what she wants, hasn't she?
Yeah, she might get the title back, but everything else has been taken away from Rhea.
Yeah, mission accomplished. Yeah, not much to report here. It was a fine match. Rey Mysterio beats Dominic Mysterio. I wonder if they're saving Dominic beating Rey for Rey's retirement match. Given that Rey's beaten him twice now.
Yeah, he'll give it back in his last match.
Yeah, I think a Mania match maybe next year, because there'll be no Judgment Day this time in WrestleMania next year. So yeah, I think that's the way we go there. And then is it main event time yet?
There was that little damage control segment, but I think you touched on it
Yes.
earlier.
Yeah, so yeah, this was basically Dakota Kai's reaction to not qualifying for Money in the Bank, her being visibly upset, and Io Sky giving her a couple of, if you pause it at certain moments, you can see some disapproving looks from Io Sky. So I think that, I think the fact they're following up on this, and they've got a 6-woman tag next week with Lyra Valkyria and Caden Carter and Katana Chance. So I think that, I mean, the wrestling quality in that match, they give those guys 10 minutes, 15 minutes, that'll be great.
Yeah, it'll be decent,
Yeah.
but more damage control breakup.
Yeah. So I think, and I don't want to upset any Dakota Kai fans here, but I think she's taking the pin again next week. But it's all for the greater good, I promise. Basically, the result is going to upset Io Sky. That's how it goes. They could do miscommunications, they could do accidental bumps. But either way, I think Dakota or Kyrie are going to be responsible for losing that match next week.
Some miscommunication.
Yeah, and I think that's how it should go, because it obviously aids, you can build up sympathy for Dakota Kai with a angry Io Sky very easily. I think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, similar to the sympathy built for the rest of Alpha Academy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the same way.
Yeah, you could have Dakota Kai, just all she wants to do is make her damage control members happy, and she keeps screwing it up. Yeah, it's a very easy story to tell and a very effective one as well. And she's got the character work to pull it off. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely.
Is it banger time?
It is.
Yeah, it's banger
what
time.
What a banger it was.
What a main event this was. Do you want to talk us through it, Kronus?
I've written down a real slobber knocker.
Yeah. Retro, I like it.
Some high points for me were Sheamus celebrating with the crowd after the beat to the Baldwin over the barricade. It made me laugh out loud.
Yeah.
Ilya had a really good match. Like, a really good show. It's what you expect from Ilya Dragunov, but it was really, really good.
He looked very strong, yeah.
Yeah, an H-bomb from the apron to Sheamus on the outside.
Yep.
Brutal. And then back inside for a follow-up H-bomb to Drew with a near fall.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the Drew headbutting into the Torpedo Moscow.
Oh, yeah. God damn.
And then Torpedo Moscow into the Claymore.
Oh, so good. I mean, those two together, these three have fantastic chemistry, but you could really envision a Drew and Ilya feud for a long time, couldn't you?
Yeah.
And just never get bored of it.
Definitely. I honestly don't think I've seen Ilya have a bad match with anybody.
No. And a lot of talk that, Ilya lost, is like, that man is main eventing against people who have been world champion multiple times.
Yeah.
Monday Night Raw, and he is not just hanging, he is swimming with these guys, and he does not look out of place at all.
Showing. Yeah, brilliant.
I think him and Bron Breakker have been the best call-ups in a very, very long time.
Absolutely. Goes for a coast to coast on Sheamus as well, which they were going for a bro kick counter, but looks like he hit him in the nuts.
Yeah, it's probably the most subtle low blow I've ever seen. Even the ref didn't see it.
No.
I mean, 12,000 people in Boston saw it, but yeah, I can see what they were going for. Just under-egg the pudding a little bit. It was still great, yeah.
But I think shortly after that, Sheamus follows up with another brogue. And that's where I've ended my notes, but
yeah, so Ilya takes out Sheamus, and then Sheamus gets back in, and then Drew finishes off Sheamus with a Claymore, I believe.
Yeah.
So Drew McIntyre is the final entrant into the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Yeah, and a short promo afterwards.
Yeah, he just grabs the microphone, says, "See you Saturday," with his bracelet. So that was Monday Night Raw. Got through that in about 45 minutes. Not too bad.
And nice and concise.
Yeah. Do you want to have a quick recap of Forbidden Door, just the key takeaways? Because I think we'll be here for a very long time if we go through the whole pay-per-view.
Yeah, there are a lot of matches. But
I'll let you take the lead on this one.
yeah.
I think you've got the more comprehensive notes than I have.
Yeah, I'll be as quick as I can then. So we open with Hechicera and MJF. Bit of a random match, but it was a great match. They're both brilliant.
Yeah.
Was it MJF's first actual match back?
No, he faced Roosh,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Oh yeah, of course.
But yeah, I was expecting a bit more for his first pay-per-view match, and it was in his hometown as well. But yeah, I thought what we got was fine. Both very good. I really enjoy Hechicero since I've been introduced to him.
Yeah, he's definitely my favourite of the luchas that have come in.
Yeah, because he's sort of like, he's not your average lucha, is he? He's big and he's technical.
Very technical.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying him. I'd like to see more of him.
Yeah, I think we will. We had Acclaimed and Tanahashi versus the Elite.
Oh god, yeah. This falls into the should have been on Dynamite or a Collision folder for me personally.
Yeah, it was a fun match, as you could expect, really, from the Young Bucks in a multi-man match.
Yeah.
With a heel win, and Daddy Ass coming in to save Tana from a second Rainmaker.
Yeah, I did laugh at this, and I said something to myself, and then I looked on social media and everyone else, and I was thinking, I don't want to see Okada run away from Billy Gunn in 2024. And
It's a bit of a strange
I
image.
saw somebody say Billy Gunn should not be booked like Brock Lesnar in 2024. But yeah, that was my only gripe. I thought the match was fine. But yeah, heel victory, which I think we probably saw coming because the Acclaimed they won the Eliminator match, didn't they? So they've got a title shot coming at some point.
Yeah. And I think my main takeaway from the match was possibly the worst Max Caster rap.
Oh
been.
god, yeah. I mean, he's approaching learning tree levels of Get Off My Television.
Yeah, we'll come to them a bit later.
Oh yay, cool.
But first real banger of the night, Brian versus Takagi.
Oh, this was great. Yeah, I love this.
Yeah. Lots of focus on Brian's neck, which is obviously heavily taped.
Yep.
Which they're massively leaning into. What more can you say about it, really?
Well,
a banger of a match.
Again, I recently it was my first time I've actually seen a Shingo Takagi match. Because
okay.
I'm a self-proclaimed, I don't watch New Japan. I try to watch the A.I.W. Forbidden Door stuff when I can. But no, my first introduction to Takagi, really impressed. I thought him and Brian, I mean, Brian could have a 5-star match with a paper bag, but I thought he and Takagi mixed really well. Very physical. I think we all knew Brian was winning.
Yeah.
But it didn't really detract from the quality of the match, which I liked.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we had Tony versus Mina Shirakawa for the women's world title.
Mm-hmm.
A really cool Tony entrance.
Yeah, the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, the character work again is just off the charts.
Yeah.
Again, another banger defense with a 3-way kiss at the end. Everyone makes up.
Yeah, I think I was really curious how this was. I knew it'd be a good match because Mina's really good. Tony's been, doing the best work of her career in ring and out the ring. So I was really curious what the aftermath would be, and if Mariah was going to choose, and what we got was everyone kind of making up and being friends, which I wasn't really expecting.
No, I don't think anyone was, but
I guess.
allow it.
Well, I guess now because obviously Mariah beat Soraya on the pre-show to qualify into the semi-finals of the Owen Hart Cup. I don't know who she faces, and I don't know when they're facing them. But that was a quarterfinal match. So if Mariah wins one more match, she's in the final, and then obviously she'll win that. I assume against maybe Chris Statlander or something.
So you got Mariah for the whole thing, have you?
I've got Mariah to win the Owen Hart Cup and beat Toni Storm at All In. Yeah,
Mm,
that's what I've got. I think that's where from where I'm standing and from what I can see from the store, I think that's where it's heading.
that's a fair shout.
But I hope so anyway. So I think that would be really cool. And Mariah's obviously from London as well.
Yeah, no,
And
that makes even more sense.
Tony Khan loves his moments.
He does.
Gave Saraya the title last year in All In. She's from Norwich. So, be a bit rude to
Imagine
not
what
give
I'll
it to
do.
someone from London.
Yeah, no, makes more and more sense. Right. So following that, we had ZSJ, Zack Sabre Jr. and OC Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
In a way more technical match from OC than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Seemed to match Zack's style.
Yeah, it was one of those matches where I didn't really have a lot of investment going in, just because, it's the Forbidden Door concept, and a lot of the time it can be just two people who are very different. But yeah, I was surprised at OC and how versatile he is.
Yeah, seriously good.
He is very good, and it was a great match. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that final submission from Zack Sabre was just heinous.
The pretzelator.
Yeah.
I'll turn you into a pretzel.
Yeah, heinous. But yeah, really good match.
I was watching him do that final submission. I was like, oh, it's an armbar. Oh, he's locking the legs. Oh God, what's he doing? It's like, I'm pretty sure he just introduced me to body parts I didn't know existed. He just kept grabbing onto different things until Orange Cassidy just like, screw this.
Yeah, he's had enough.
He's had enough. But yeah, excellent finish to that match.
Yeah, and then we had Hi guys.
Hi guys.
And Jeff Cobb.
Yeah.
I love Jeff Cobb.
I love Jeff Cobb. I hate the learning tree.
Yeah.
What's he doing with the learning tree? He doesn't need to learn shit.
No, you can teach them a lot, I think.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. So the learning tree of Redwood, Big Bill, and Jericho, and Jeff Cobb versus Hook Joe and Shibata.
Poor Brian Keith. He left out. The old bad apple.
He's not that bad.
No, I guess that learning tree is doing him well. He's not even taking part in his own stables matches. They have to get Jeff Cobb in instead.
Just got to rely on his random outbursts.
Yeah, is he injured or something? I don't know.
I'm not sure. I don't know if it's legit or not.
No, I guess his
kayfabe.
His Scrappy Doo like character will pull him through.
Yeah, Scrappy Doo, brilliant.
Yeah, this was a match that happened.
There was a really cool Judas effect from Hook.
Yeah, that won the match, didn't it? Yeah, I'm glad that Hook beat Jericho with the Judas effect. However, does that mean we're going to get another match with Hook and Jericho for the FTW title?
Probably.
Okay. I will accept it and move on.
This is definitely not the end of the learning tree, I'm afraid.
No, when's Jericho's contract up? December 2025. Oh, what a nice Christmas that'll be.
Another year and a half.
Yeah, another year and a half of the learning tree. Maybe it'll be like the NWO and it'll just have 40 people waving at people. 40 people saying, "Hey guys," in unison. I mean, if they're going to do it, they need to just make it so stupid it's funny. At least make it funny, please.
Just fully jump the shark.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, match was okay. There's obviously some great talent in there. I think they're all great wrestlers.
Yeah.
I respect Jericho for everything he's done, just not this. That's all it is. It's just the learning tree. Everything else was great.
Yeah, that's about as diplomatic as you can be.
Yeah.
But next we had the TNT title ladder match, which really washed away the horribleness from Jericho.
Yeah, it did. Very good match. And I just can't stop thinking about that Takeshita Blue Thunder Bomb. My God.
Oh God, yeah, that was absolutely insane.
Yeah, I
At
mean,
first I thought, what was he going for? And then, oh my God, he's doing it.
if it wasn't so obvious that Jack Perry was winning this match, I'd
No,
have
actually,
I'd have Takeshita just have that title and elevate it to the moon.
that Takeshita sandwich between the table and the ladder with Briscoe diving outside looked
Oh,
horrific as well.
yeah. And then Mark Briscoe did his Adam Copeland impression, didn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah, didn't break his leg though. But fair play to him.
got away with it.
Yeah, he got away with it. Yeah, it was just a spot fest, wasn't it? As you'd expect from these kind of matches in A.W. It was great fun to watch.
Yeah,
People
constant action.
people just putting their bodies on the line for the love of the game. What can you ask for?
Yeah,
Jack Perry wins. Whether you like Jack Perry or not, I think the important thing here is making the Elite at least look threatening. So having as much gold as possible, which they have now. They've got 4 people, 4 titles. So yeah, I think Jack Perry winning was always going to be the outcome.
yeah,
So now we'll see what they do next, going into Blood and Guts.
indeed. And then we had Mercedes Moné, the CEO, versus Stephanie Vaquer of, is it CMLL?
Yeah, I think so. I think she's the New Japan Strong Women's Champion, but she's
Yeah,
in CMLL.
yeah.
I think. Okay. This is one of the matches I didn't watch because I fell asleep because it was late. So I'll let you take this one. I heard it was very, very good, and I heard Stephanie Vaquer is a beast.
Yeah, I've not seen any of her matches before, but this was really impressive. She's like a lucha Zack Sabre Jr., I've noted.
Well,
So, springboardy, is it the Yave submission style they say it is? The
I don't
Mexican
know.
one?
I don't know actually. I'm not too
I think
familiar
they
with
said
that.
it about Angelico
Oh, okay.
before. But yeah, submission-y, lucha-y, really good. As expected though, Monet picking up the win.
Mercedes 2 belts.
Yeah, in what, 2 matches?
I
3
think it's
matches?
4 matches. Yeah, 4 matches, 2 belts. So that's about every other match.
50%
Yeah, that's a
outright.
pretty good success rate, I'd say. And then we got the DMD, didn't we?
The doctor will see you now.
How long has she been out? Is it a year?
Feels
Over a
like
year?
ages. Yeah, it must be over a year.
Because she's been out longer than Jamie Hayter has, hasn't
Yeah,
she? And Jamie Hayter was out since last Double or Nothing, which was in May. So yeah, I mean, great to see her back. I mean,
yeah, great shape as well.
yeah, she looked fantastic. And I think they have Dynamite is advertising a Mercedes Moné celebration,
Right.
and then they're advertising a we'll hear from DMD. They have to be in the same segment. There's no way you could do those 2 segments separately and not acknowledge each other.
Yeah,
The,
surely not.
the only way to do this is to have Britt Baker interrupt Mercedes, instantly put Mercedes in the heel role, because the story writes itself for Britt saying, you can't come in here and take what I built, etc. So I think that's the way they should go. I hope they do.
Yeah,
Obviously, DMD coming out at the end of Mercedes' match, then walking off, wasn't for nothing. So I'll be interested to see how they do that. And presumably that's going to be the match at All In, which I'm absolutely down for.
yeah, be good. Definitely. Right, and then we had good old JR come out
Oh,
for Naito vs Mox to make it a 4-man booth.
nice.
Nobody tagged out.
I was still sleeping at this point, unfortunately.
It was a pretty good match. One of the funniest bits was Naito spearing Mox through an actual person ringside.
Which
Sort of
person?
between there was a guy in glasses between the announce table and like the timekeepers area,
Right.
and like Mox is stood in front of him, sort of propped up between the two, and Naito just sort of spears him through the guy, and they're all sort of on the floor. I think it's the guy, then Moxley, then Naito.
Was it just like
in the ground up.
someone who works in the timekeeper's area or something?
Yeah, I couldn't see what his job was. He definitely wasn't a cameraman or anything.
He's a
Maybe,
jobber.
yeah, but yeah, he got involved. Lots of dropping on heads, as you'd
Well,
expect.
you've seen one Moxley match.
But yeah, Naito picked up the win, which I think is probably for the best.
Yeah, so the New Japan title's back in New Japan now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it makes sense because obviously New Japan's, you could argue their most popular talents recently in Okada, Ospreay, and Jay White have kind of, gone over to AEW.
yeah,
So I guess they're probably in the process of building new stars on the level of those three.
yeah.
That-
Naito's been champ before.
Yeah,
I think they put the title on Mox a little bit ago, knowing that at Forbidden Door they've got to get Naito over again.
yeah. I guess there's going to be some politics, isn't there? With you can have our title for this long, we want it back at this point, etc.
Yeah, it'll all have been worked out.
As much as there is a relationship, they are still two separate companies.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and then I woke up after this.
Good time to wake up.
I probably missed the first maybe 5 minutes of Swerve Osprey. So, and I was still quite tired, so I'll let you take the lead on this one as well.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? It was amazing.
Yeah.
What a match.
Yeah.
Both on top of their game. Some notable moments was Osprey going for an Oscutter early on, but Swerve springboard stomping him. That was pretty brutal.
Unreal.
Stomp onto Osprey onto the announce table. Looked
Yeah, that was from the apron, wasn't it?
can't remember.
So, yeah, I swear he did one where Osprey was leaning on the announce table and he just stomped him from the apron.
Yeah, that's it. Osprey kind of jumps. Otherwise, he's taking it in the corner,
Yeah.
which is fair enough. But yeah, that looks savage. First time I've ever seen someone do a pile driver on the barricade.
I know. Incredible.
It's just mental. Got a ref bump. And some callous involvement, trying to give Osprey the screwdriver.
The famous screwdriver.
Yeah. Which he's looking to refuse, and then takes and sort of threatens. I can't remember who it was on the outside. Nana, obviously.
Yeah.
So he's threatening Nana with it, sort of looks at it in his hand and gives it up, but gets house called on his way into the ring, which I thought was big oof, but really well done. I've got false finish city, which you expect from these guys, really.
Yep.
But yeah, Swerve picking up the win as expected. I mean, you can't have Osprey do a Mercedes Moné really and win everything.
No, and I think it's definitely the right decision. I think they did it perfectly, and no one can say that Osprey looks weak coming out of this because he lost. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah,
Swerve needed this like 100 times more than Osprey did. And Swerve is not just champion because he's champion. He is incredible, and he needs to be presented as such. And I think that's exactly what they did on Forbidden Door.
Yeah, 100%. His defining defense.
Yeah, and there's a report that came out about this yesterday, and spoiler alert, we're going to do an episode next called "The Current State of AEW," and we're doing one for WWE and NXT as well, where we just talk about what we think of the current state of the company, essentially. There's a report that came out yesterday which basically said that this idea for Swerve versus Osprey at Forbidden Door was Will Ospreay's idea to dispel the myth that Swerve is just holding the title until All In.
Oh yeah.
So it was actually Ospreay's idea to face Swerve at Forbidden Door and lose, put him over, so that people stop thinking that Swerve's just holding the title for Osprey. So I thought that was really interesting. And then obviously fair play to Osprey. It's a really So locker room leader type thing to do. I would say that probably should have come from the writers and Tony Khan first, but we'll talk about it another time. But I thought it was a thumbs up pay-per-view overall from what I saw.
Yeah, you can count on A.I.W. I mean, it's long. It was very long,
Yeah.
but there were plenty of bangers.
Yeah, I mean, you can count on one hand how many. I think there's only been 2 AEW pay-per-views I really haven't liked, and I've watched all of them.
Yeah.
That was World's End last year and Double or Nothing last year as well. So both last year. But apart from that, they always kill it on pay-per-view.
Yeah. Really good.
So that was Forbidden Door. Got through that in about 20 minutes. It's very
Nice.
impressive.
For a 7-hour show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Apparently there was a very short media scrum as well, so makes a change.
Indeed.
Cool. So Money in the Bank. It's prediction time.
Here we go.
Okay, so I've got my predictions. Kronus, you've got your predictions. AI Jeff has got his predictions. So we will tally up, and on Sunday morning, we will see who's the winner. So we're going to start with the 6-man tag match. Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton. The Bloodline, which we presume will be Solo Sikoa and 2 others. Who have you got? And what other things do you think might happen, if any, in this match?
I think I've got the Bloodline to win. Seems silly debuting Jacob Fatu, who I think is probably going to be in the match. Having him lose will be on the losing team. Loss won't hurt any of the faces, really. Don't know if I can see them debuting any more members.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, depends how many more they've got coming through.
Yeah, I mean, is it Tola Tonga they're going for?
Yeah, longer Tonga, yeah.
Longer Tonga.
And smaller Tonga to follow at some point. Hikuleo, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. I haven't seen anything recently further on his signing or appearance.
No, me neither. But we saw nothing on Tonga Loa, did we, at all?
No, to be fair.
Or Tama Tonga. All we saw was Jacob Fatu, and then 2 others turned up out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, that's a fair shout.
But yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. Maybe Atala.
So you got Bloodline to win, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I've gone Bloodline to win as well. I think we might see Solo Sikoa pin Cody Rhodes in this match. If they are, because the rumor is that Solo Sikoa and Cody Rhodes will be the main event of SummerSlam.
Yeah.
If they are going to do that, then Solo pinning Cody in this match would sort of at least justify that a little bit more.
Yeah, it starts it off, doesn't it?
Yeah. In terms of any new members, I don't think well, I guess Hikuleo would have to arrive before Roman comes back. So maybe we get Hikuleo. Maybe that's why they win. Who knows? But yeah, I've gone Bloodline. AI Jeff has gone babyface victory.
Has he? Did he say why?
No.
No.
He's a man of few words.
All right.
But he's gone for he says the Bloodline faction has been dominant, but the combined star power of Rhodes, Owens, and Orton could lead to an upset. So he's gone babyface victory.
Upset.
I don't know. Is it an upset? Probably not.
No, maybe not.
Next up, next match, we have the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. So we have Io Sky versus Chelsea Green versus Naomi versus Lyra Valkyria versus Tiffany Stratton versus Zoe Stark. Who have you got?
It's Tiffy for me.
It is Tiffy for me, and it is Tiffy for AI Jeff. Full house on Tiffany Stratton winning the Money in the Bank ladder match. I think
time for Tiffy time.
Yeah, I think she's the best choice. I know Chelsea Green would be great for the briefcase.
Yeah.
But Tiffany is a more believable champion at this point, I think.
Yeah, and the run she's been on as well. Just makes sense to keep it going.
Yeah, and Tiffany will also do great character things with the briefcase like Chelsea Green would.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I'd like to see them as a pairing one day, personally. I think it'd be brilliant.
Yeah, I think it suits her.
Yeah, I think so. In terms of longer things, I wonder because I think we might get Nia Jax helping Tiffany win the briefcase here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe helps her win the title as well.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Nia Jax is facing Bailey at SummerSlam. So what I think would be good is if Nia helps Tiffany win the briefcase, Nia beats Bailey, and then Tiffany cashes in on Nia. I think that would be really
I
funny.
see.
It would make Nia look pretty stupid,
Yeah,
but
but
it would be funny.
you never know.
I think SummerSlam's looking great already. We haven't even got through Money in the Bank yet. I'm already excited for SummerSlam.
It's shaping up well.
Next match, we have Sami Zayn versus Bron Breakker for the Intercontinental Championship. So, I've gone. Oh God. Okay, I'm going Bron Breakker. I think Bron Breakker's going
Yeah,
to win.
I'm still not sure who I think is going to win this one. I do. All right, it's got to be Bron.
Yeah.
You can't stop that momentum.
No, and if you do, you have to figure out a very creative way to stop that momentum.
Yeah, and beating Sami Zayn, who famously doesn't stay down,
No, exactly.
it's a big statement.
A.I.Jeff's gone with Sami Zayn to retain.
Ooh.
I mean, this is probably the most difficult match to predict, I think.
Yeah.
Now, moving swiftly on to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. LA Knight, Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Chad Gable, and Drew McIntyre. Now, for me, there's only two winners here. It's either Chad Gable or Drew McIntyre, for me personally. Before we get to my prediction, Kronus, who have you got?
It's got to be Drew.
Yeah.
He's been doing everything he's said he's going to do recently. And he said he's going to win it and walk out as champion.
Yep.
So I have a feeling that's going to happen.
A.I.Jeff has also gone for Drew McIntyre. I'm going for Chad Gable.
Wow, okay.
I think Chad Gable. I think I mean, obviously, I basically had to flip a coin on this one because to me, this entire match is about where does CM Punk screw Drew McIntyre? And I've decided to go for he screws him in the ladder match.
Okay.
He could easily screw him in the cash in. I think it's just as likely. I literally just flipped a coin. So I think Chad Gable wins Money in the Bank. So I'm outnumbered there 2-1 from you guys. And finally, we have the World Heavyweight Championship: Damian Priest versus Seth Franklin Rollins. I'm going for Seth Rollins. Mainly because I think Seth Rollins versus Gunther is just a much better match to have at SummerSlam. And I think we all think Gunther is going to be crowned world champion at SummerSlam, and he's going to hold that title for a very long time. And with all due respect to Damian Priest, I think it adds more credibility to beat someone like Seth Rollins for that title.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So
you might have just tipped me over as well.
And also it's a green flag for Priest leaving the Judgment Day.
Yeah. No, that will make sense.
Did you go for Priest or?
I was thinking Priest, but only because he's not really had much of a reign.
No.
But what you just said about Seth, yeah, I think you're right. It probably will be Seth.
2 for Seth Rollins. A.I.Jeff has gone for a Damian Priest retention. I mean, it definitely could happen easily. There's so many things they could do with this. That's why I'm excited for it. The selfish side of me wants to see Seth versus Gunther. Because otherwise, where would we see it? But yeah, those are our predictions. Let us know in the comments what your predictions are. If you agree with us, if you disagree with us, if you dare disagree with A.I.Jeff.
And why?
And why? More importantly, the most important question in wrestling is why. So, that's the predictions out of the way. A.I.Jeff's been a bit of a chatterbox today.
Yeah.
So, I was having a conversation with him earlier, off off microphone, obviously.
Yeah.
And I was saying how the Money in the Bank briefcase has been around for a very long time, 20 years now. Is it WrestleMania
Is it?
20 or 21, the first one?
I can't remember exactly. But
So
yeah.
a long time, and the concept hasn't changed at all, really, apart from adding a women's one and it becoming its own pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So I asked Jeff, I said, what would you do? How would you improve / change the Money in the Bank briefcase? And he gave me some ideas.
All
So
right.
some of the ideas he gave me were quite interesting. And one in particular, I absolutely love. And I think it would be awesome. And then he had a few drinks and he gave me a few that were more on the bizarre side. And shall we
Okay.
say the fictional side of wrestling.
All right.
So I'm going to go through a couple of my favorites. So the first one he did was he says he wants to have customizable contracts. So when somebody wins the Money in the Bank briefcase, instead of just a championship match, they also get to choose the type of stipulation for said match as well. So they can,
Okay.
so if they cash in ahead of time, for example, which some people have, then they can choose this is going to be Hell in a Cell, Iron Man, Last Man Standing, etc.
Yeah.
So that's a nice twist on the idea.
Yeah. I mean, you'd only be able to cash it in, announced, as it were.
Yeah, it's more of a babyface move, isn't it? Announcing ahead of time.
Yeah.
It has. I think it's only happened a couple of times, hasn't it?
Yeah. Cena did it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Of course he did.
God, Cena. He's wants to introduce the idea of wild card cash-ins. Currently, the briefcase holder can cash in any time. Add an element of surprise by allowing them to cash in during other promotions events like NXT or TNA.
Okay.
I mean, you could argue that it would devalue the briefcase because those titles aren't as prestigious, but wouldn't it be great to see somebody kind of cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase on a TNA show?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be
I
so
mean,
weird?
it would be surreal.
It would be surreal, wouldn't it? And the eyes it would get on the product as well.
Yeah. I mean, it would be good for both, I expect.
Yeah, absolutely. This one tries to solve a problem, but I think we end up with too many ladder matches this way. So he suggests somehow creating a separate ladder match for mid-card titles. So you can see the problem he's trying to solve here.
Yeah.
It would elevate the titles, it would provide fresh opportunities, but also would require more ladder matches.
Yeah.
So I think 2 ladder matches is enough already in one pay-per-view.
Yeah. You don't want to dilute it any further, really.
No, but I do appreciate the effort. Now, he has come up with an even better suggestion to solve this problem, right? I love this. This is called the economic contract valuation. So,
All right.
when you win the briefcase's value fluctuates based on the holder's performance, audience ratings, and merchandise sales. So basically, I mean, I think I'd be happy just with the performance. So when you win the briefcase, you have to win matches to build up that the briefcase's value to kind of get to certain levels where you can cash in on certain titles.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you win like 3 matches in a row, you're eligible to cash in for the mid-card title. And then if you win like 8 matches in a row, you're eligible to cash in for the world title. But every match you lose, it goes down and it just fluctuates over time. And I think that would be really cool. I mean, I don't know how they do it from a television perspective, but I think it does solve that problem of cashing in on mid-card titles.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Because
I think I like that.
you could be at 7 wins, right? 1 win away from being eligible to cash in on a world title. And then you lose 3 in a row and your time's running out. And you think, oh God. And you panic. You think, oh God, I'll just cash in on a mid-card title then. Because that's all I'm eligible for.
Does that devalue it though? If you just go, no, fine, I'll take that one.
Well, that was just me. But
Fair enough.
sorry, I kind of made it sound like it was a waste.
That's a cool concept.
I love it. I think it's I think that's really really clever, and I think it's realistic as well. What isn't realistic is the following Money in the Bank ladder match concepts. So, Kronus, how would you feel about a Money in the Bank ladder match on a moving vehicle?
Instantly flashed to that match Dustin Rhodes had with someone
Yeah.
in the back of a van with like hay bales.
Yeah. So Jeff wants to set up a ladder match on a moving truck or train. It's the last line that kills me. Wrestlers would climb ladders while the vehicle speeds down the highway. The risk of falling off adds intensity, and the crowd could follow the action from fellow moving vehicles. So, to get a ticket to this match, you have to rent a car. Okay. And I assume they're going to block off this entire highway. So, this huge moving truck or train, it says in brackets. And then you're going to have each paying spectator in vehicles trying to keep up watching this match while also driving. I don't see any safety problems here at all. I think this is a green light from me, from the HR department. Don't you think?
Health and safety.
Health
Give
and
it a big
safety.
tick.
Who needs health and safety? His next idea is the dimension hopping briefcase. For all you Supernatural fans out there, imagine a briefcase that allows the winner to jump into alternate dimensions. They could challenge champions from parallel universes, leading to bizarre and unexpected matchups. Picture a wrestler like John Cena facing a cyborg version of themselves, or a different champion who's actually a talking pineapple.
I want to see the pineapple now.
You want to see the talking pineapple?
I do now.
Oh,
I didn't know I wanted to until now.
I'll see if Jeff can draw it for us next week. Might introduce it as a regular character. I mean, that would be really fun, actually, wouldn't it? Imagine John Cena just saying he's got the briefcase, and he goes, right, now I can jump into a different dimension and face a cyborg version of myself, or a talking pineapple version of himself.
As you do.
As you do. So that was Jeff's second crazy idea. His third idea is the ladder match roulette. This one's a bit more realistic. Not much more realistic, but a bit more realistic.
Right.
So before the match, somebody spins a giant wheel with various stipulations on it. For example, ladder on fire, tiny ladder with trapdoors, or invisible ladder. Whatever it lands on becomes the unique twist for that year's Money in the Bank.
Okay,
I cannot tell you how much I want to see invisible ladder match. That would be the funniest thing I've ever seen. Or tiny ladder match. Having to So if it was tiny ladders, like step ladders, right? Would they have to stack them on top of each other to sort of
must have to
to reach the briefcase?
It wouldn't be the first tiny ladder match, technically.
Oh, we've had WLC, haven't we?
Yeah.
Oh God.
And there was a step ladder in one of them, I think. It was during the Finley Hornswoggle era.
Yeah. Lest we forget.
Good times.
Good times.
How does a trapdoor ladder work, or a ladder with trapdoors?
I don't know. I think there would just be trapdoors set up around the ring.
Okay. So if you fall off the ladder, you go through a trapdoor.
Yeah, and there's one of those cartoon whistle effects when you like a womp 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 whenever someone goes through the ring. That'll be funny, and they have to kind of crawl out from under the ring and try again. That'll be quite funny. The final one is the time travel cash-in. So whoever wins the Money in the Bank briefcase, they can choose to cash in at any point in wrestling history. So they might appear during a classic match, altering its outcome. Imagine Stone Cold versus The Rock at WrestleMania 17, interrupted by a modern-day superstar like Austin Theory. Now, obviously, we have to... I'm sure Jeff's thought this through, but we have to bear in mind the implications of such a thing happening.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that would be hilariously fun, but we have to think that you cannot go back and change history, because wrestling, as we know, especially if you're going back to WrestleMania 17, which is probably the most iconic moment in wrestling history in terms of what it meant for, the sport in general. You got to be careful about messing with that, because we might not be where we are right now.
Exactly. We might not even realise it. It might have happened.
Exactly. I mean, who knows? Who knows? But I think that's a wrap, Cronus.
Yeah.
I think,
another
yeah, we've done our predictions. We'll see how we get on. Jeff has had a stab at improving the Money in the Bank ladder match.
He's tried.
He's tried, and that one idea about the economic value of the briefcase, I love it.
Yeah, that was the most rooted in realism, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Triple H, if you're listening, heed Jeff's words. I think that's a great idea. I mean, well, we know Eric Bischoff's listening, so why wouldn't Triple H be listening?
Why not?
Why not? Jeff does have one more piece of input for us. He's written a song, and he doesn't like it when I ask him to write songs. But he's written a song about money in the bank, and we are going to leave you with this song. So, Jeff, do you want to take it away?
Why do you always make me like songs? Fine, here's one about money in the bank.
Oh, stop complaining.
In the